Body language. In this video we're gonna do an analysis on the body language of Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders. Also, I know how much you love the Laws of Power video, so within this video there are 8 laws of power hidden, which I'll briefly mention along the way. Now let's get started.
Holy shit. It's Billy Kimber.
Is there any man here named Shelby? I said, is there any man here named Shelby?
This guy is the equivalent of that person in the room that has to talk over others to suck all the attention on himself. If he doesn't get it, his ego gets bruised and he throws a tantrum, and if he still doesn't get the attention, he resorts to using force.
I said, is there any man here named Shelby?
Briefly note how fast he blinks.
Here named Shelby.
4 times within a second. Observe the importance of this part. They lock eye contact and Tommy shows his assertiveness not by using force, but in a cool, calm and collected manner. He doesn't give him his full attention right off the get-go.
Gotta give these men a drink. Everyone else go home.
Even knowing he has a gun, he still turns his back to him, showing him, I'm not threatened in the least. To be fair, this is his pub and his territory, but still a significant move to make. His movements are slow. Look at how he turns around. Now everyone is sat down,
You go on.
pointing to his bartender, showing his authority to Billy without offending his fragile ego. This is the perfect moment to sidestep for extremely valuable information for your life. You must never forget this. If you're ever giving a speech or you're trying to influence someone, even with the smallest things, perhaps making a request, asking someone to close the window across the room, do not point your finger at people like this. A study showed that lecturers who mostly use this finger-pointed position recorded only 28% positive response, 52% when they delivered the exact same presentation to another audience using mainly the palm down position, which portrays power and authority. The palm up position got 84% testimonials from their participants. However, this is a very submissive gesture, similar to how a beggar asks for money. So, pointing evokes negative emotion and therefore most people are less likely to comply to your request. A better way is to use a palm upward movement. You may think, no way Cheyenne, I want to appear powerful and forceful. I want power, not submission. Friends, get this through your head. You do not want to appear powerful at all times, you want to be powerful at all times. And this scene will demonstrate the difference between appearing and being.
You go on.
But Mr. Fenton said...
Let's go on.
Notice how he doesn't even look at her the second time. This is a high status move.
You go on.
But Mr. Fenton said...
Let's go on.
I've never approved of women in pubs, but when they look like that...
Look at Tommy. He doesn't look at Billy, but he observes him. What do I mean? By making this remark about the woman, he shows his weakness to Tommy, who is a strategic thinker. Later in the show, he uses this information to get what he wants from Billy by offering the same woman to him.
In pubs, but when they look like that...
You said you wanted men called Shelby.
He doesn't get into this now. This is the perfect application of Law 4. Say less than necessary. I'll link that video in the end screen.
Never heard of ya. And then I did hear of ya, some little diddy coy razor gang. I thought to myself, so what? But then you fucked me over. So now you have my undivided attention. By the way, which one am I talking to? Who's the boss?
Well, I'm the oldest.
Unreactive. Locked eye contact. Notice how he doesn't turn his head to look at his brother. he just turns his eyes. It's as if the brother asks for permission to speak and he grants it with his eye contact. The moment he gives it, the brother looks down, in this case sign of submission, then tilts his head up and speaks.
Well, I'm the oldest.
Clearly.
As Arthur answers the question, Billy Kimber scoffs at him. This is a clear laugh portraying contempt and derision. Also note this fidgeting. Both of them show it. Fidgeting is a self-soothing behavior. There is internal tension. See, when the limbic brain is aroused, which is mentioned in the previous body language video, and we are stressed and nervous, surges of neurotransmitters and hormones such as adrenaline cause uncontrollable quivering of the hands. Fidgeting is a sign of emotional distress. The fight or flight system has kicked in and we try to calm ourselves down with stimulating body parts. Sensory stimulation on our body placates us. It calms us down after we experience something unpleasant or downright nasty. However, in this scene and context, this fidgeting is a sign of impatience and frustration. You will notice high status people like leaders move very little. Hence, they don't fidget a lot. They have emotional control. In the animal kingdom, you see the same thing. The alphas have controlled, slow movements to preserve energy. But once they have to use it, they will explode with power.
Talking to, who's the boss?
Well, I'm the oldest.
Clearly.
Are you laughing at my brother?
Billy doesn't buy it at all. He sizes him up, looks up and down, and then says,
Right, he's the eldest, you're the
this
thicky.
finger pointing is a very aggressive move, perhaps one of the most offensive gestures. It has a negative connotation universally.
Right, he's the eldest, you're the thickest. I'm told the boss is called Tommy, and I'm guessing that's you, because you're looking me up and down like I'm a fucking tart.
And now he gets frustrated, starting to boil from the inside. Tommy keeps observing him. Look at the locked eye contact. This unreactiveness is a trait most alpha males, or more accurate term, high status males have. It shows control and mastery of themselves. It exudes power. Let's look at this again in one go.
Right, he's the eldest, you're the thickest. I'm told the boss is called Tommy, and I'm guessing that's you, because you're looking me up and down like I'm a fucking tart.
I want to know what you want.
Notice the degree and difference of self-mastery in them. How emotionally charged Billy is and how Tommy is unaffected by it. This shows the predominant chaotic feminine energy that Billy doesn't have in his control versus the more predominant orderly masculine energy of Tommy. By the way, we all have both feminine and masculine energy. The founder of analytical psychology, Carl Jung, called the masculine energy in females the animus and the feminine energy in man the anima. I'll park that here before we enter a whole other dimension of human psychology.
I want to know what you want.
There were suspicious betting patterns at Kempton Park, a horse called Monaghan Boy. He won by a length twice and then...
Have a look at Billy now. Hands are clenched. This is a sign of anger. Also look at his face. That is scorn. Also a sign of anger. He is boiling from the inside.
There were suspicious betting patterns at Kempton Park, a horse called Monaghan Boy. He won by a length twice and then finished last, with £3,000 bet on him.
Which one am I talking to?
Now Tommy returns his question to him.
Which one of you is the boss?
I'm Mr. Kimber's advisor and accountant.
And I'm the fucking boss, okay?
Erupting like a volcano. Look how he stands up. He leans forward, invading the distance between them. Arms spread. This is a typical territorial display. High status people tend to stand up like this a lot. Here's James Bond doing it. Harvey Specter. Jessica Pearson. Tommy Shelby. Just to name a few. They take up more space.
Which one of you is the boss?
I'm Mr. Kimber's advisor and accountant.
And I'm the fucking boss, okay?
He jumps at the first opportunity to let them know that he is the boss.
fucking boss, okay? Right, end of parley. You fixed the race without my permission. You fucking gypsy scum. What, live off the war pensions of these poor old Garrison Lane widows? That's your level. I am Billy Kimber. I run the races, and you fixed one of them, so I'm gonna have you shot against the post.
Law 19 of the 48 Laws of Power states, know who you are dealing with. He is the embodiment of the arrogant and proud man. Robert Greene states, this man's touchy pride makes him very dangerous. Any perceived slight will lead to a vengeance of overwhelming violence. His head moves all over the place, very jittery and extremely aggressive. Now look how calm he appears, unfazed by Billy's emotion, strong eye contact. His brothers are looking down. Also note how he stands, wide, spread out and exposing his vital area, which is his torso. Very open and confrontational body language. Compare that to the man right here, who portrays blocking behavior. His hands are a barrier to his genitals.
I am Billy Kimber. I run the races, and you fixed one of them, so I'm gonna have you shot against the post.
Mr. Kimber. Look at it.
Assertive vocal projection.
Look at it. That is my name in it. It's from the Lee family.
Now here you need context. Tommy has thoroughly researched him and deliberately picked this fight with him. I'll come back to this in a second.
It's from the Lee family. You were also at war with the Lees, Mr. Kimber, am I right?
Strategy he uses is the enemy of my enemy is my friend. He steps closer to him.
The Lees are attacking your bookies and taking your money. Your men can't control them. You need help.
A sign of incongruence here. He makes an affirmative statement but shakes his head sideways, as if saying no.
You need help. You need help.
Perhaps he's not sure whether he needs his help after what he has done to him. The harsh swallow, which we covered more in depth in a previous video. It is a sign of emotional distress. He knows what he is saying can rub him the wrong way.
You need help.
Perhaps we should listen to what Mr. Shelby has to say before we make our decisions.
Right, the Lees are doing a lot of talking at the fairs. They have a lot of kin.
Squinting here, he clearly doesn't like that the Lees have a lot of kin.
They have a lot of kin. They're saying the racetracks are easy meat because the police are busy with strikes. Now,
The eyebrow raises. This one has many meanings. Context is absolutely key with this one. In this case, I believe he uses this to emphasize his point and add a little intensity to his words.
we have connections. We know how they operate. You have muscle. Together we can beat them, divided.
His fingertips are spread apart. This is another significant territorial display of confidence and authority.
We have connections. We know how they operate. You have muscle. Together we can beat them, divided, maybe not.
This is a very powerful way to influence people. He first addresses the problem, the pain point of his business.
The Lees are attacking your bookies and taking your money. Your men can't control them.
And does this with the I, you, and we structure.
We have connections. We know how they operate. You have...
Palm upward movement.
We have connections. We know how they operate. You have muscle.
In other words, we have the needed intelligence and you have the manpower. And this also summarizes their characters. By the way, this is a perfect application of Law 13, which states, when asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy. He appears to find a win-win situation. However, he goddamn orchestrated the entire thing by deliberately picking a fight and therefore baiting him to sit down in his own territory.
Rule 1, you don't punch above your weight.
Billy Kimber is there for the taking.
Says who?
You strike when your enemy is weak.
Had he done this in his territory, he most likely would have been shot and killed. Regarding the baiting part, that is a perfect application of Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Genius.
Mr. Kimber, perhaps we should take some time for reflection.
Now notice that for the first time, he is calm.
Possibly make arrangements for a second meeting.
I admire you, Mr. Kimber. You started with nothing and built a legitimate business. It would be an honor to work with you, Mr. Kimber.
And this is absolutely epic and a big game changer for your own life. He has now grasped what kind of man he is dealing with. So what can you do best with the proud and arrogant man? Exactly. He strokes, soothes and massages his huge ego. He's almost making himself appear like a fanboy here.
It would be an honor to work with you, Mr. Kimber.
Straight away, see how his chin is now raised up. This prolonged chin raise generally signifies confidence, pride, and in cases like this, even arrogance. So let's see if this humbles him a little.
To work with you, Mr. Kimber.
Nobody works with me. People work for me.
Nobody works with me, signifying equal status. People work for me, signifying his need of a superior status.
Nobody works with me. People work for me. Pick it up, Peaky.
Showing him that he is the master of Tommy and he wants Tommy to be on his knees. He wants Tommy bowing down to him like a weak, powerless gypsy beggar. In addition, this also can serve as a test whether he really means what he says. Mind you, Tommy Shelby is a hardened fucking criminal who ruthlessly kills. Top dog of his city, the pride of his family that has enormous ambition. Now someone comes and wants him to bow down to him in his own city, in front of his own family, right in his own fucking bar.
Pick it up, Peaky.
Sit down.
Now learn this and you will attain the heights of power, dominance and status. This is not what you want to hear, but this is exactly what you need to hear. Like Tommy Shelby does here. Let others feel like they have power over you. You do this by observing your own persona and taking charge of the image you present. Visualization and meditation is a great tool to become more one with yourself. You will observe your dark thoughts and transmute that energy to become a better man or woman, able to serve, help, praise and provide order to other people whilst being a fertilizer to your environment, being a force of fucking nature to your direct environment. And that is the purest essence of the King's energy. That which nowadays people call, in an overly simplified way, being an alpha male or female. It is not that black and white, man. The deepest fundamental layer is the King's energy. Let's get off topic for a second before we get back to the scene. The moment you filter the world in terms of absolute power and define it as domination and control or influence over other people, the first thing you will face is hell. And here is why. You will start with telling little lies. And that distances you from the truth, from the reality that is around you. You start influencing someone, which makes you feel more alive. And then you do it again. And the distance between you and reality increases. Eventually, you start thinking, well, if I can manipulate people, what's stopping them from manipulating me? And the simple rationalization would be, they can't. That would be a foolish answer. Answer that honestly and you may get paranoid over all sorts of things. Now your shadow creeps up. Your reticular activating system, which roughly speaking is a filter for your attention, filters out corruption and lies in the world around you. What's the consequence of this? You start second guessing your reality, you distrust the people around you, you start losing friends and lovers. Then the only thing that will feed you is consumption of alcohol, drugs, and meaningless sex as a way to assert your power. Becoming tyrannical and whatnot, I guarantee you, if you don't consciously kill parts of your ego, you will travel down this path of pursuing power in that sense. You will face fucking darkness and enter the abyss. But why am I telling you this if this is so terrible? I've been through this entire process. I know people who are still stuck there. I was completely consumed by power. It is fucking awful, man. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And here's what I want you to know. When you learn to integrate your own shadow, when you cultivate that awareness and accumulate the lessons you learned and use that as a building block to recreate yourself like a phoenix that rises from the ashes, it will provide value to yourself, your family, friends, and your environment, and you will become the person you always wanted to be in a way that also serves others. And you will provide praise and fertility to other people in your environment. Now that is the essence of the King's energy. You will live your purpose and destiny, not serving yourself, but serving a higher power, a higher cause or goal, a purpose. But we're getting way off topic now. For those interested, I highly suggest you to read the book King, Warrior, Lover, Magician by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette. I plan on making a 4-part video series on that. Now, coming back to our video, you see him bowing to Billy. And here is why it's so powerful, and why you need to know this in order to become a strategic thinker and master of your life. In the words of Robert Greene, it is not a weakness to disguise your strengths if in the end they lead to power. By letting others outshine you, you remain in control instead of being a victim of their insecurity. This will come in handy the day you decide to rise above your inferior status.
Nobody works with
Billy
me.
wants Tommy to recognize him as the master, which is law 1, never outshine the master.
Sit down.
As he's about to get down and pick up the coin, his brother stands up to do it for him. He cannot see his brother down like that. And Tommy, knowing the end game, orders him to sit down. He wants Billy to know that he can bow down to him so he can feel superior.
It's for your ceiling.
Thank you, Mr. Kimber.
Now, after all of this, he goes on thanking him. The strength of character he shows is tremendous. The keen observer of human nature sees that Billy is no match for Tommy. Perfect application of Law 24. Play the perfect courtier.
We will be at Cheltenham.
As will I.
As they leave, the first thing he does is chug down his whiskey. He hated every second of it. But he knew he had to suck up his pride and get the job done. 2 laws can be observed. Law 21, play a sucker to catch a sucker. And Law 29, plan all the way to the end.
So you picked a fight with the Lees on purpose. Tommy, we can't mess with Billy fucking Kimber.
Get yourself a decent haircut, man. We're going to the races.
This is what a strategic thinker does. Force versus intellect. Here's a meaningful lesson to deduct from this scene. When you have a purpose in life, the petty feelings of other people won't overrule you. You'll be the person you want to be, and you won't be obsessed and needy of taking charge everywhere you go, like Billy did. I have a set rule in my life. I don't want to lead projects or groups that do not align with my future vision. Why do I recommend this to you? Time. You will save a lot of time that you can spend in constructing and living your own purpose, bettering yourself. Sometimes it is better to behave like others, but think for yourself. And that is Law 38. Remember when I said he noticed him looking at the girl and later used it against him? Better than that, he knew that the man who wanted to appear powerful would wear something red, as this is psychologically proven to increase your influence.
Buy something red. To match his handkerchief.
Whose handkerchief?
Spoiler alert, in the end, he went ahead and killed him. Alright friends, more Peaky Blinders body language analysis videos will follow.
Came here from Paris. That does not mean I'm French.
Like this iconic scene that shows not only how confidence looks, but how confidence is embodied. Friends, like the Phoenix, may you have a controlled ego death and arise from the ashes as the person you wish to become.